Hello, everyone, and welcome. I want to thank you all today for being here today. It truly means a lot to me. My name is Nitin Mali, and I'm the founder of High School Quest Bridge. Through this initiative, I've helped students from several areas who can go on to take an idea or passion and turn it into something powerful, a community project that doesn't just talk about change, it creates it. Today, I want to walk you through a step by step guide that has helped hundreds of students just like you launch their own community impact project, whether it's a campaign for climate awareness, mental health advocacy, educational equity, any cause closest to your heart. This roadmap will help you take action. And this roadmap is something that I've learned myself from other people who've started nonprofits and other people who have went on to go make very successful nonprofits and other people who teach people how to make nonprofits. So it's sort of a very structured out framework, and I'm also using this as one of my frameworks for my nonprofit. So without further ado, let's begin. So section one, I just want to talk about why start a community project. So let's just start with this big question here. Why should you really create a community project at all? At first glance, a community project might seem like something big and difficult, but in reality, it's a powerful way to turn your passion into real world impact while learning so many skills in your life that you'll ever need. And here are just a few reasons why it's worth your time. So, first off, you make a tangible impact. You solve real problems. You're not just saying and talking about stuff, you're really doing stuff. Whether it's improving access to resources, reducing stress in schools, or supporting underserved communities, your project will truly matter. First and second off, you'll also have leadership growth. You'll be forced to lead, maybe for the first time. You'll learn how to organize people, pitch ideas, and stay consistent. Next off is problem solving and critical thinking. Community work throws challenges at you. You'll have to learn to think creatively, pivot your approach, and manage resources with limited time and tools. And lastly, personal fulfillment. There's a lot of fulfillment around doing this kind of work and starting community projects, since it's sort of a very tough thing where you're going to have to really be willing to work hard on, and it's really fulfilling at the end. So, step one to actually start a community project, we really need to start with finding a problem or passion you have. This is sort of the foundation of your entire project, since sort of there has to be a need for your project, or you have to really want to do that specific like project itself. Since if you don't have a passion to do it, you're going to be less motivated to do it, and if it's not something you feel like people can benefit off of, then it won't be as easy to actually make the impact with. So, you'll need either a problem, something that's broken, missing, unfair, unsafe, or ignored, or a passion, something that you love so deeply that you can't imagine not doing something about it. So, how do we really find these? So, some practical exercise is look around. What's something in your school community or online community or neighborhood that frustrates you? Second off, you can go in and talk to people. Ask some people this week if you could fix one thing around you, what would it be? Typically, a simpler problem would be better, but I mean, go for anything you want. And then next off is reflect. What caused the last time you felt angry or moved about something? So, for example, you notice younger kids struggle to read or read with reading comprehension, and then you make a project that's sort of a reading buddy program to teach younger kids about literature, reading, etc. And then additionally, another example could be community lacking recycling bins. Project idea would be creating low cost recycling initiatives. Or next off, if you're passionate about pets, a project to start a drive to help the local shelter with blankets and food. And next off is your neighborhood has no safe walking routes, trying to advocate for possible sidewalks or streetlights. But typically, if you feel like these ideas are too complicated, just understand even something small works. So, generally speaking, maybe like a podcast or like a YouTube channel or even some social media page or maybe writing a blog, article, email list. At the end of the day, it matters. So typically, these are just some examples that I've sort of heard of, but anything really works. So even a podcast or YouTube channel will get the job done. So, step two is to brainstorm a practical way to help people. And sort of it's like now that you know the problem or passion, how do you specifically take action to actually act on it? So, here are some powerful project models you can choose from. First, our education and awareness project, and the goal is to teach people something they didn't know or help them understand a topic better. So, some examples are mental health, hosting mental health workshops or workshop series, or hosting a podcast for mental health. And another one could be heart health, which I actually own a nonprofit in, like making heart health posters, social media posts, and a podcast. That would be some ideas. And next are tools and technology projects. So create something that solves a problem directly. Examples are making a guidebook or toolkit, printable, online, or even physical, depending on what it is, or building a small website that gives gives local resources to food banks, mental health facilities, etc. Or use Google Forms to make an anonymous peer-to-peer support forum for students to help one another, or make like an online community for that. And some tools to help are Canva for designing, Wix for the website, Thunkable or Glide for the app with no code. And also apps are a big one for these kind of tech and tools based solutions as well. And Google Drive for resource folders. And you may not need to code, but and since many of the tools are drag and drop. Third are engagement projects, in person or online. So the goal is to get people involved directly. So some examples are volunteer cleanup days in your park, weekend food delivery routes for seniors, free tutoring, or starting your own challenges, etc. So typically, when it comes to the most successful projects, they're going to be simple, easier to join, and well organized, and fun and slash or meaningful. So next off, one thing I think is super important, has gotten more important over the last few years or so, is building a social media presence. So it's like whether you love it or don't like it, it's sort of an amplifier for every community project, no matter what it is. It takes small ideas and multiplies them. So here's how to use them smartly and not wastefully. So first, you have to start with an identity that reflects a mission and a name that reflects missions, such as maybe read rise for a book project or safe steps for community safety efforts, etc. And make a simple logo as well. And then stick to multiple colors, like one or two. Not to have too many colors, but maybe try to keep around one to three, one to two colors. That's the ideal end. And a tone of voice as well. And planning your posts as well, and also try and do consistent posts every 1 to 2 days ideally, but you can go every 3 days if you want. And ideally you want to make sure these are intentional posts. So do updates, education, stories, and fun stuff. And I think education is the big one, since you can spread a lot of awareness with social media as well. You can spread it into the thousands. So try one post every 3 days, maybe to start, and make them valuable and clear. And engage, shout outs, polls will help. So you can even use social media as well to recruit help as well, such as graphic designers, translators, artists, and more, and other people who can actually help give advice to you to improve your own nonprofit. Step four is decide how to deliver the project. And since you have a plan, now how do you help people experience it? This step is about the format. Ask yourself, is it something people should attend? Is it something they access online? Is it a product or tool they download? Is it a routine they join? If it's digital, go and make a simple website or online guide and forward it to as many people as possible. Hosting Zoom webinars or workshops, and doing podcasts as possible big events, along with TikToks to share knowledge just consistently and being able to spread to thousands of people. And if it's in person, try and choose central locations such as school, library, park, such as if it's a club, try and make it a school club. Offer snacks, music, and activities to make it enjoyable, and bring physical materials, of course. And if you are starting anything with giving out materials, organize kits or packages and make sure you fundraise to actually get those as well, along with including handwritten notes for a personal touch as well, along with documentation of delivery. So start with the kind of method that matches what you feel like would fit with your own nonprofit. So I know some of these were not actually here, however, on the slide. And let me just explain the ones on the slide so far. So for web, you also would like to create a website ideally, since you can scale that and provide a lot of information and resources to hundreds of people. An app as well which can help with interactive tools, tracking solutions, etc., workshops and events as well, since they'll be physical, like I just said, with event based nonprofits. Physical events and workshops would be very helpful. Along with social media is good for everything, since you can raise awareness very easily and spread messages very quickly. And it varies a lot by your goal. I just had some examples over here that I would know of. And these are sort of like the main ideas of how these examples would be. So, step five over here is going to be the implement aspect. So, step five is implement it and actually launch your specific nonprofit project, etc. So, planning is, of course, great, but nothing happens till you act. Even if you start small, hypothetically, as long as you're doing something to start off with, it's better than doing absolutely nothing. So, I would say mainly try to go for raising impact in social medias and websites first, since when you have those, you can create larger impacts and also get a lot more awareness for your own nonprofit. So you're sort of being able to get thousands of people who can go and learn off of what you're saying on social media and use seminars and real events and podcasts to make more deep, meaningful sort of impact to maybe tens to hundreds of people if you can. And try and keep recruiting to support, help promote your nonprofit as well, along with collaborating with others, which is step six. So collaboration is step six. And collaboration is really important since it sort of is the way you get to do more and more with your own nonprofit. Another thing about step six too is that you also have to scale. So social media can be one way to scale. Partnering with other nonprofits is another way to scale. Partnering with people in the actual field would be a great way to help, along with possibly making other chapters, etc., creating other ambassador programs, along with adding new services or resources based on feedback. And it's sort of that improvement of your nonprofit being able to scale to a lot more people in general. So I'll quickly round off with this. So here's sort of the six steps to a successful community project. First, finding a problem or passion, finding a cause that truly matters to you or your community. So the important thing about this, of course, is that you'll have something where you are either willing to really push for and try and make very successful, and that you'll have the ability to, sort of have that knowledge on it where you can use to go and help a lot of people, or something where people are in sort of like a dire need for it to be addressed and helped. For example, for something you'd be passionate about, possibly art would be a good example, and a big problem nowadays would be mental health and just general wellness as a whole. And those are just some examples. There's a lot more than this. Second is finding a way to help brainstorm practical, impactful solutions. So, podcasts, social medias, websites, integrating them, doing events, etc., or an app. And three, making a social media presence. This is like really critical since you're able to impact a lot of people and gain a lot of traction off social media just itself. And next off, decide how to deliver your solution, website, app, event, etc. And fifth is implementing and taking action. So starting small, planning well, and executing everything step by step is important. And six is spread the word and expand, using social media, word of mouth, and partnerships to go on and grow your impact as well. And when you go and follow these steps, your project will have structure, direction, and the power to make whatever difference you are looking to make. And those are sort of like the six steps as well. And that's sort of the framework I and many others have gone on to use. All in all, you don't really need to have a bunch to start. You sort of just need that courage to go on and start your project. And you can really do it off anything, since a social media page or a podcast is entirely free to start, especially when you're using YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. So it's really, if you're willing, it's sort of, if you're willing to go and have the courage to go and start your own nonprofit or community project, etc. So we sort of encourage you to go on and do it. And here's sort of our advice here at High School Questbridge for how we would recommend, what we would recommend. So writing down first off three problems or passions you have care for, picking one, spending an hour sketching what a solution or potential project could look like, And that's sort of our how we would figure out for ideas, and then thinking also about how you want to implement it along with all the other steps as well. And we also are very happy to get emails or DMs if you want feedback or support, so no problem with that. So our email and TikTok is shown over here in the slide. So yeah, thank you and have a great day.